Hello, good people of YouTube, Mountbatten here, and today we have several bits of news to go over, both from in-game development standpoints and also the continuation of some drama, and the wrapping up of some other drama with quite the happy ending. So we'll be going through that today. The various chapters should be time marked in the description down below, so just skip around to what part you want to watch and have a wonderful day if I don't catch you for the ending. But here we go. So let's start out with the DevBlogs, shall we? So we're going to start from the time of release up to the most recent one that I've unfortunately missed a few over the past couple of days because, again, just how crazy everything's been with the game and all. But anyway, ST.10.8 changes to test ships. We adjusted the parameters of some ships based on testing results. The changes will be applied to Soviet carriers, Gibraltar, Carnot, Tulsa, and other ships. So, the Komsomolets Tier 4, which is of course the Russian Tier 4 CV, reduced the bomb dispersion per bounce of the skip bombers. Chikhlov, cruise speed of the skip bombers increased from 115 to 124 knots. The Admiral Nakhimov increased the rocket dispersion of stock and researchable attack aircraft, increased bomb bounce height of skip bombers for the last two bounces. Okay, so for the Soviet CVs, very slight buffs here. So the Komsomolets is going to have slightly more accurate skip bombs, it sounds like. Now, skip bombs, if you've never used them before, they're kind of tricky to use in a lot of cases because it's very much like ship artillery. There's a lot of RNG involved, whereas with, well, up until recently, with most other ship armaments, there wasn't a whole lot of RNG involved, like torpedoes. With the CVs and the way you can drop them on ships, you know, you can pretty much guarantee that a ship's going to eat all, if not most, of your torpedoes. Rocket planes, before the rocket plane delay, used to be able to just, you know, guarantee that you're going to slap the crap out of a ship with rocket planes. Bombs were mostly AP bombs, for being completely honest, were mostly the RNG base of these CVs. HE bombs, for the most part, the ships that had HE bombs dropped either a large number of them, or they had a pretty small reticle for their HE bombs, and it was pretty easy, consistent damage. But again, some things have changed recently, and it seems like they're moving more towards adding in a little bit more RNG to CVs. But anyway, reducing the dispersion per bounce of the skip bombers is, of course, going to allow you to get slightly more accurate salvos off with the skip bombs, and they don't mention how much. They say just that they reduce the amount of dispersion per bounce. So yeah, alright, that they could be a lot, it could be not a lot, we don't know. They don't give us a number, so that's kind of vague. So the Chikhlov, the Tier 8 Soviet CV, so the cruise speed of the skip bombers being raised by 9 knots isn't a huge deal. They're still quite slow for Tier 8. Keep in mind too, none of these planes now have a heel, so when they eat damage, that's it. They have no way to recover from that. So a little bit faster for that, you know, that's understandable. Alright, the Admiral Nakhimov actually got a bit of a nerf that, from what I've seen on like the videos that have been posted to YouTube, and from what I've heard from those that have been under the influence of these Nakhimov rockets, these nerfs were pretty well warranted for the Nakhimov, because it does fire rockets with similar performance to the Tiny Tims, and it fires a crap ton of them. And I've heard that they can chunk the French ships and the British BBs for like 30-something K if they manage to get all the planes on target. So increasing the dispersion there is very much needed for the rocket planes. And this last one, I'm not exactly sure what this means. The increased bomb bounce height for skip bombers for the last two bounces. I don't know if that means, like, because they're bouncing at a higher level now, or they're going to have a steeper angle when they're coming back down. So maybe, you know, you can potentially pin some deck armor there. Or is it they're bouncing higher now, so therefore there's more space in between the two last bounces, so therefore you can drop the bombs from a further way out. Again, they don't really offer up much detail right there, but that's the two things I can think of. Other than, like, let's say there's a DD in the middle of your skip, and maybe they bounced so low they were often hitting the ship they weren't meant to hit, and now they're increasing them to where they can skip over small ships like light cruisers and DDs. But I think it's more likely one of the first two. Either, you know, they're going to have such a steep bounce now they can maybe pin some deck armor, or there's a bit more range in between the last two bounces. I don't know. So that's what's happening to Soviet Seabees. Okay, the Carnot, the Tier 9 premium French supercruiser. So the main battery firing range was reduced from 19 to 18.1 kilometers. Main battery reload time increased from 24 to 25 seconds. Sigma parameters decreased from 2.05 to 1.9 sigma. Ooh. Most supercruisers have at least a sigma of 2.0. I think there's like one or two that have like 1.8 or 1.9. It seems like Carnot is going to be joining that club now. So Carnot, I really haven't seen much of it, either in testing, like people out on the live server, or I haven't heard anything from really anyone that has ran across one so far. So can't really say much on that. I'm guessing the guns are maybe a little bit too accurate with that French HE, so I'm assuming that's what's happening there. All right, the Repulse, the longer-awaited Soviet, longer-awaited British battlecruiser. Maximum speed bonus of the engine boost consumable decreased from 10% to 8%. Now, the Repulse is, when she first got announced, she was very maneuverable. The engine boost lasted quite a long time, but then they nerfed the duration, and now they're nerfing the speed of the engine boost as well. So keep in mind, this is a Tier 6 ship, which, when it first came out, I believe it's capable of going like 36 or 35 knots at Tier 6 with battleship caliber guns. I think that's before the speed flag was applied too, so this is a really quick ship still, even after this engine boost decrease, which... Oh, yeah, too. I think the turret traverse was, like, absolutely abysmal at first, but now that they've buffed it to where it's a lot more usable at high speeds, because, you know, you're swinging your turrets from one side to the other as you're maneuvering your ship. So I believe they changed that a little while ago as well. So she's a little bit slower now, but I'm really quite excited for the Repulse. Like I've said before, it's the probably one of the last premium ships I'm going to get for a while because of everything going on with wargaming. It's just that we've been waiting so long for the Repulse to finally come out, and it unfortunately is approaching what I'm assuming it's near release date, unfortunately in the middle of all of this mess. Alright, so the Moltke, the Tier 4 German battlecruiser, main battery firing range decreased from 14 to 13.5 kilometers, a little less range there. Again, these are very much close-in warships, so not a tremendous downside there, but 13.5 kilometer range at Tier 4, that's still perfectly workable. Tier 4 is a much closer tier than like Tier 6 or Tier 7 for sure. Alright, the British cruiser Gibraltar Tier 10. This is some interesting changes right here. So the fuse time of the AP shells got decreased from 0.033 seconds to 0.005 seconds. The arming threshold of the AP shells decreased from 39 to 12 millimeters. And then they changed the repair party to where it now restores the same amount of Citadel hit points as the British Super Heal. So it no longer restores just 10%, but now it restores 33% of damage received to the Citadel. So it sounds like she's getting the good old British AP, the short fuse British AP. And with 12 guns, rip freaking DDs, 12 millimeters, that's quite the thin threshold, but this does mean, too, that on thicker armor, we're going to be seeing a lot more shatters and non-pins. But then you could probably aim for their superstructure and just chunk the living crap out of them as well. Plus, she still has the British cruiser HE on top of that, too. So this Gibraltar is getting pretty interesting. I know I said she was a super cruiser when she first got announced. I mean, a 12-gun cruiser at Tier 10 with these parameters now and the hit pool and the size of the Gibraltar physically is, I'm pretty sure that's safe to say it's definitely leaning more towards super cruiser than just heavy cruiser. Alright, the American cruiser Tulsa, the Tier 9 ship, the Little Des Moines from what I've seen. This is the cruiser with 6 230mm guns. So the repair party consumable has been changed. Same as the Gibraltar. It now restores 33% of damage dealt to the Citadel. So Tulsa is interesting. Her stats got released the other day, and she has a 5.4 second reload time on 6 203mm guns at Tier 9. And her accuracy isn't incredibly accurate or anything like that. And yeah, 5.4 is a definitely quick reload time, but it's not exactly the machine gun of the Smolensk, because again, this ship only has 6 guns. So I'm not sure exactly what the Tulsa is supposed to be. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens when she gets released. Alright, the next dev blog. We've got the art department breaking its freaking back as usual. So ST, visual changes. In the near future, we will be testing visual changes on the maps Two Brothers and Hotspot, the Philippines, port, and visual waters. And water visuals. Good lord, man, my freaking dyslexia is kicking in. In the near future, we'll be testing visual changes to water as well as to the maps Two Brothers and Hotspot and the port the Philippines. Main changes. The maps now will use highly detailed textures. Added new animations to the map, updated the underwater worlds, added new green models on the islands. Testing of the updated water visuals and the ship's wake effect also continues. This is the video I made a little while ago. I think I called it like Water 2 or whatever, where they added in water that's more interactive with the ship models. It looks a whole lot better than the water that we have in the game right now. Not that the water looks terrible or anything right now. I think they updated a little bit with the last patch. But this new water looks really good. I'll link that video somewhere here in the description if you want to see what that water looks like in full detail. I do believe it's the water in the screenshots, but seeing it in motion is just a whole lot better. So you can just tell just from the screenshots here. I think these are only like 1080p. I wish they would upload these in like 4K or something so you get a really good look at it. But even looking at 1080p, you can see there's a lot more detail on the island. The trees look a lot better, a whole lot better than like the 2015, 2016 trees that we have on some of these maps. That you can see there's like the fine particle detail in the steam and the smoke from the volcano. And the volcano looks like it's actively erupting too, and the glow from the lava looks great. Two Brothers, one of my favorite maps. Man, look at the facelift this map got. Again, same thing here. The trees look much better, and the water looks really good too. Again, it's just a still picture, but you can tell it's a bit better as well. But again, more detail, more high-res textures. The Philippine port as well. It looks a lot better. I wouldn't say it gives the Fjords port a run for its money, but it does look a lot better. The Fjords port's one of my favorite ports in the game because it's one of the high detail, high texture, high resolution ports that we have right now. Man, my English is just not working today or just the wires in my brain aren't connecting, boys. It's been a long day at work. Alright, so that's it for the DevBlogs so far. Now we are going to go ahead and talk about some good news. So, there was some drama a few days ago, and I didn't cover this because it was just like, you know, another thing added on top of everything else in the midst of last week when everything was blowing up with the CCs and such. So, apparently on the Russian stream, one of the bonus codes was worded in a way that it insulted one of the larger Russian Warships YouTubers and streamers, Turry, and that it said, I'm not exactly sure I can say what it said and still get monetized on YouTube, so I guess we'll just throw it up on screen right here and with a little bit of it blurred out. You can put 2 and 2 together. And it's kind of hard for a random stream code to come up with this combination, not even adding into the fact that like everything that's going on right now with the CCs and stuff. So yeah, and in what we assumed was going to be typical wargaming fashion, many people didn't think that wargaming would even acknowledge this, but lo and behold, they did. And you know what? When wargaming wants to, they sure can apologize, because this was actually a well-written and a well-received apology. So this is posted on the Russian forums. This is being Google translated into English. So about par for the course with Wargaming's no more translating. So it says, friends, as you know, a bonus code with inappropriate content was circulated on our official stream last Friday, insulting our player and popular streamer Turry. This is absolutely unacceptable. We conducted an internal audit and found that this situation was due to the actions of one employee. He was suspended from work, and the most stringent measures were applied to him based on the results of the audit. On behalf of the entire Warships team, we apologize to the players, viewers of the Friday stream, and most importantly, we apologize to Turry. We have made an absolutely unacceptable statement in your address and are fully aware of our responsibility. So again, Google Translate. We understand now that words alone are not enough, and we want to offer you a bonus code. Turry, we are sorry. Best regards and hope for your understanding, the Warships team. So again, you can apologize, Wargaming. If this was the guy that was writing the apology from last week, I'm sure that apology would have been much better, well received. Or heck, like I talked about last week, the replies that Shonai was giving out when community members were asking, further questions were much better than the official statement. So I don't know what's up with that, if it was designed by committee or whatever, because apparently a bunch of the devs and managers worked on it over the weekend and we got that out of everything. I don't know, but this was much better and I'm glad that they made amends there. Alright, so our last bit of news. You've probably seen these images floating around either the forums, your Discord channel, YouTube, or wherever. So these are supposedly leaked images from, I'm assuming, the news article that will be coming out like maybe tomorrow, well, Thursday for y'all, I guess we'll see, of the Missouri containers, detailing how many containers are being put out and what's in them. If you count up all the containers, it's 75 loot boxes for 1,500 dubs each. So if we just look at that right there, 75 bundles at 1,500 dubs each. That's roughly $430 for the entire sets to guarantee that you get a Missouri. Now, you do get additional stuff along the way, but of course, no one's really getting these bundles for that. They want it all for the Missouri. But since then, Wargaming has stated that, well, actually, originally that these were fake, but now they are stating that these are incorrect, rather than being outright fake. So, as of right now, according to Wargaming, this is not accurate. Would it surprise me if 75 bundles is the amount of bundles, and the price is like, let's say, 1,000 dubs? No, that wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, shoot, look at the Johann de Witt thing. We had to go to, a lot of us had to go to 76 to get our Johann de Witt. It wouldn't surprise me at all that they use that same number for the Missouri. So, is it going to be this much according to Wargaming? No. It could be more. And in this situation, it probably is, knowing how Wargaming's been recently. But if anyone at Wargaming has any freaking sense about them, they should tone this down to like 30 bundles for like 1,000 dubs each. That way you're spending, shoot, 30,000 doubloons is a little over $100, so you're spending more than you normally would for the Missouri, but at least it's not freaking $400. And of course, like I've said every time covering whatever's happening with the Missouri recently, the Missouri is absolutely not worth it. It most certainly is not worth $430 if this does turn out to be accurate. It's not worth $100. It's not worth $80. It's not worth the price of a tier 8. It's not worth the price of a tier 6 ship. It simply is not worth it anymore because of the changes that have happened in the game and how she's been power crept. Now, for historical value, yes, I understand. You collectors out there, you want her. Just wait for the campaign to come out, the web campaign to come out, and get her that way. It takes you 2 weeks to get her. You can get her for, well, you still gotta pay $80 for her, but at least you know you're just paying $80 and not gambling your life away just to get one digital item. So again, not worth it all around for me. Collectors, I mean, you guys are going to do what you guys are going to do, but for the love of God, please do not get her through these bundles. This only encourages Wargaming to do these bundles more, because obviously they're making hand over fist in terms of profits if you go and try to get the Missouri through this route. Alright guys, so that's your wrap up for the news for the past couple of days. We'll see what happens this week. It is Thursday. This is normally the night for the for Wargaming stream, and normally some new information gets announced on here as well. And let's see what's going to happen this Friday. For the past Friday forever, we've been getting a new premium ship. Will it be Repulse this Friday? I don't know. Good Lord, who knows what's going to happen this Friday. But anyway, guys, hope you guys are having a wonderful Thursday. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 30,000 subs, just past 28,400 a few days ago, and I cannot thank you guys enough for that. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.